Hey guys, welcome back in. We're going to be reading John chapter 2 today, and we're again sticking with the World English Bible in the US edition. Yeah, World English Bible US edition. So I'm reading from my YouVision Bible app. You should download it on your smartphone. Just have it because you can save the files, you can read it offline. I personally also love having a physical version of a Bible. I've got several translations, several copies. Um, which I encourage you to get as well when you're ready, because it is a big investment. They're not cheap. You don't have to get the most expensive one available, but investing in a good Bible is usually anywhere between $40 and $60. Getting, a leather bound or a hardcover. Like I said, it can be more expensive than that. My Spiral Bible, because it's in multiple volumes because of how it's printed. My Spiral Bible, I think I paid $120 or $130 for the whole set. I did get it on sale, and I'll probably invest in another copy of the Spiral Bible in another translation. Get you a Bible. Get a digital one. Get one from a bookstore. Check out local thrift stores. They may have some. I'm not sure about like Goodwill or the Salvation Army or anything like that, but I know some of the smaller thrift stores like that are attached to churches or attached to mission groups or things like that. Sometimes they give Bibles away for free that are donated. So that may be a great way for you to get a Bible. But anyway, we're going to go ahead and read John chapter 2, and we're using that good old public domain World English Bible. The third day, there was a wedding in Cana of Galilee. Jesus' mother was there. Jesus was also invited, with his disciples, to the wedding. When the wine ran out, Jesus' mother said to him, "They have no wine." Jesus said to her, "Woman, what does that have to do with you and me? My hour has not yet come." His mother said to the servants, "Whatever he says to you, do it." Now there were 6 water pots of stone set there after the Jews' way of purifying, containing 2 or 3 metrites apiece. Jesus said to them, "Fill the water pots with water." So they filled them up to the brim. He said to them, "Now draw some out and take it to the ruler of the feast." So they took it. When the ruler of the feast tasted the water now become wine and didn't know where it came from, but the servants who had drawn the water knew, the ruler of the feast called the bridegroom and said to him, "Everyone serves the good wine first, and when the guests have drunk freely, then that which is worse. You have kept the good wine until now." This beginning of his signs Jesus did in Cana of Galilee, and revealed his glory, and his disciples believed in him. After this, he went down to Capernaum, he and his mother, his brothers, and his disciples, and they stayed there a few days. The Passover of the Jews was at hand, and Jesus went up to Jerusalem. He found in the temple those who sold oxen, sheep, and doves, and the changers of money sitting. He made a whip of cords, and drove all out of the temple, both the sheep and the oxen, and he poured out the changers' money, and overthrew their tables. To those who sold the doves, he said, "Take these things out of here. Don't make my Father's house a marketplace." His disciples remembered that it was written, "Zeal for your house will eat me up." The Jews therefore answered him, "What sign do you show us, seeing that you do these things?" Jesus answered them, "Destroy this temple, and in 3 days I will raise it up." The Jews therefore said, "It took 46 years to build this temple. Will you raise it up in 3 days?" But he spoke of the temple of his body. When therefore he was raised from the dead, his disciples remembered that he said this, and they believed the scripture and the word which Jesus had said. Now when he was in Jerusalem at the Passover, during the feast, many believed in his name, observing his signs which he did. But Jesus didn't entrust himself to them, because he knew everyone, and because he didn't need for anyone to testify concerning man, for he himself knew what was in man. Now it's John chapter 2, a little bit shorter, actually a lot shorter than chapter 1. And I've got 2 of my favorite stories in here. I love the flipping of tables and pouring out the money changers' money and shooing away the purchase or the stock, the livestock that was available for purchase. And of course, the water to wine story. Everybody loves that story. It's beautiful. It's interesting. What I really like about it in verse 5, after Jesus has told his mother, my hour has not yet come. His mother turns, it says in verse 5, his mother said to the servants, whatever he says to you, do it. So she's acknowledged what he said. She's accepted what he said. And she doesn't argue. She doesn't put pressure on him. She doesn't try to manipulate him or twist his arm. She just turns to the servants and says, whatever he says, do it. He could have said, go back to what you were doing, go back to your work, go back to your meal, whatever. He could have chosen right then and there, I'm not going to reveal myself to the world yet. But instead, he tells them, go fill up these water pots. And the metrites is about 20 to 30 U.S. gallons, or 75 to 115 liters. So it's quite a lot of water. It's not quite a 55-gallon drum. Be about half that, but that's a lot of water in a pot. So he made 50-ish gallons of wine. And I do love that the ruler of the feast, the guy over everything, was just like, oh my goodness, you saved the best for last. Which, of course, any wine that Jesus made would be perfect. But back to him being in the temple, talking about, don't make my Father's house a marketplace. Some people don't understand why he got so upset about driving out the money changers and driving out the people selling the sacrificial animals. Here's the thing about sacrifice. Anything you sacrifice, especially that you sacrifice to God, it's got to mean something. And with these animals just being available for purchase outside the temple gates or outside the temple itself in the courtyard, it doesn't make it as meaningful. It makes it much more transactional for your sacrifice. It is supposed to be something that you hold precious, that you are reverent of, that you are aware of what you are giving. It costs you something in a spiritual way, not a monetary way. And at this point in time, it's just become transactional. Like, oh, I'll give my money, I'll get my sacrifice, I'll do what I need to do, and I'm good. Just going to give the priests what they need, and I'm going to keep going. That's why he gets very passionate and very angry. It's righteous anger. Because it's a tarnishing and a corruption of something that's supposed to be sacred and holy. But in this short chapter, what was your favorite bit? Did you prefer the story of water to wine? Do you prefer the Passover story? What do you get out of this shorter chapter? I'd love to hear. Make a comment down below. And as always, stay blessed, stay bold, and I'll see you in the next one.